Okay. Thank you for having me here. It's great to attend this conference. I've really enjoyed it so far. I think what this conference is all about for me is a combination of information sharing, reflection, and what can we do better. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time reflecting on what I do, and then I'm going to get into some of the stuff about partnering with government and others. So we'll see if that works. Yep, good. Foodbank WA provides food for breakfast clubs in 432 schools. So you might have heard Jason earlier talk about 832 schools. Well, Foodbank WA provides 432 of those. So we feed over 17,000 children that come to school without an adequate breakfast. But the question is Foodbank WA doing the right thing in providing that service? And we've had a lot of conversation already at this conference about institutionalising welfare and about what the government should be doing. But it certainly raises the question, am I doing the right thing? I'm sure everyone in this room is here because they want to make a positive difference, and that's certainly what I want to do, but am I actually doing the right thing in pursuing this sort of school breakfast program? And certainly some principals have said to me, it's just an out for irresponsible parents to keep being more irresponsible. So we have an answer for that, but it does require us to reflect on what we do, and is the sort of support we're providing, is it the right way to go? Also, from a health perspective, which is where I primarily come from, a lot of the health promotion initiatives they actually fail to reach those most in need. Fitness programs tend to recruit only people that are already convinced about the importance of physical activity, and nutrition programs only sign up those that are already trying to eat healthy meals. When I was in injury prevention, we had an April Falls Day supposed to be for people that were liable to fall, so we'd have an April Fool's walk in Kings Park. We used to get lots of people walking, so we had very good evaluation of it. But it turned out that all the people that came to our walk were people that love to walk anyway. So that's always a problem with health promotion. Okay. Oh, I think I've lost my way. I think that's where I wanted to be. So who are our disadvantaged communities and what makes them disadvantaged? WA has a third of the population of New South Wales, but 3 New South Wales can fit into 1 WA. So it's a big state with some very remote communities. And the presentation I gave on behalf of Christina Pollard yesterday talked about transport as one of the food security issues in WA. And 75% of our population live in Perth, so our overall population density is less than 1 person per square kilometre. So there's a list there. I won't go through them all, but a lot of them will be ones that you're very familiar with. They're the ones that are commonly at risk of food security disadvantage, and they're the groups that we work with at Foodbank WA. I'll come back to the school breakfast program later. When I got to Foodbank WA, there was just a metro nutrition program that was already had been developed by 2 nutritionists, and I guess my epiphany was that we had access to, at that stage, about 10,000 disadvantaged children that we could potentially influence in a positive way. So we really had a capacity to change their lives. So We created Food Sensations, which is really based on the Food Sense model, but it incorporates, it consists of very hands-on, active learning. It's peer group reinforced. We do it in groups. It's achievement-oriented. Excuse me. The children get to actually prepare their own meals, and it's highly visual and it's fun. We've heard discussions about programs already that have all those elements into it. But ours is very focused on low literacy, low numeracy people, so that's why it's very visual and experiential. And we've learnt from the major fast food corporations that, and I always tell my nutritionists that if you fail at everything else, just make sure that it's fun. If we get to there, the association between healthy eating and fun, then we've achieved something. It takes Anne Ritchie's quote as its inspiration, and we've been able to grow to 11 nutritionists now that work with a range of groups. No. Yep. So we work with school sessions. They're school breakfast program schools. So we work with those schools, and they can be right through from kindergarten to year 12. It's mostly primary school groups that we work with, but we do work with a full range. We also work with parents in those schools of the children that go to those schools, and we often try and incorporate parents coming along to the sessions as well, so that they actually see their children enjoying healthy food, and the children can actually have that positive experience with their parents present. We also work with disadvantaged adults, and they can include a whole range of adults of various groups, but they do include refugee groups, physically and mentally disabled groups, and we work in prisons as well. And Lucy Butcher, who's one of our nutritionists that's here, can tell you some interesting stories about her work in prisons. We also have an adolescent program where we work with adolescents that are no longer in mainstream education. The thing I'd say about the school, and it was interesting the question earlier about home economics, it is a gap, but we try and to at least partially address that gap in the schools that we work with by very closely aligning our Food Sensations work, our cooking and nutrition programs with the school curriculum. Okay, other aspects of it are that it's low cost. It has very low cost ingredients and low cost cooking utensils and low cost environments. The lower picture on my right, there your left I think, is when we work in remote communities we'll often work with just an open fire because that's how they cook their meals. So we'll do that. We'll cook on an open fire and prepare meals that way with them. Our food ingredients are healthy. We don't work with butter and we don't feel like you need to. We try to work with local produce and canned goods where necessary. If we're going to a remote community, we actually go to the community store first to find out what the residents are actually capable of buying, but we'll also find out whether they use any other forms of local produce. So we only do our cooking sessions to a group according to what that group's has available, accessible, affordable, and also culturally appropriate to the group. Okay, I think the guy up there is just doing it for me anyway. Back to school breakfast program. As you can see, it's very big. We're feeding over 17,000 children now. No. Right. Okay, although the initial objectives of the school breakfast program were to improve the students' health and awareness of healthy eating, that's not why school principals sign up to the program. The two key outcomes for them are attendance rates excuse me, and behaviour. In some schools, principals have reported that they provide breakfast to get the children to the school and then they give them lunch to keep them there. It's not about them fulfilling performance indicators, it's about giving the teachers access to a receptive mind that can learn. That's the school breakfast program magic bullet. It's not just putting food in a stomach, it's actually creating for that school a receptive mind that can learn and grow. It creates a positive learning environment, and that's why the schools often pair a school breakfast program with activities like reading, maths, physical activity, developing social skills, and even counselling sessions. And it also, obviously, promotes healthy eating as a fun social activity to be held with friends. Okay, so some of this research is from ECU, Edith Cowan University, and this is just recent research findings that they've given us. So that was about the school breakfast program. This is about back to food sensations. And they found that the major benefits from there were enjoyment of preparing and eating healthy meals, the knowledge in choosing healthy foods, and that was a knowledge that was relevant to their local environment, and also the skills in preparing healthy meals. They developed the confidence to be able to prepare healthy meals. Okay, so do we provide the answer to the problems of food security and unhealthy eating with disadvantaged people in WA? Definitely not. There are many issues that we can't address, many environmental issues. But I would argue that we do provide an important piece in the jigsaw puzzle. That is the solution. And the major way we do that is through partnership building. Partnerships have been integral to my work, and we would not have any sustainability if we didn't work in collaboration with groups. Organisations who work in communities, they know the food issues, so we gain the information from them and support people to provide the most useful training that we can deliver. So flexibility is a byword in the way we work. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Now, about the money, show me the money, that's what my finance manager keeps saying. So where do we get the money for this work? I've really worked to create a diversified portfolio of government, corporate and funding organisation agreements, so to provide the sustainability for the program. I come from a background of working in government. I worked in government for 14 years. I was actually contract managing Foodbank WA before the job came up, and I thought, yep, I want to go there. So I've got a pretty good knowledge of how to press the buttons in terms of getting government funding. I found corporate funding more difficult, but we have been able to get BHP Billiton on side, and we're now in our 5th year of their funding support. So, and also getting long-term agreements with food producers, local food producers, that's been really important. But about 70% of Healthy Food for All funding is state government funding, and that can be hard work. And it's the state government funding that I have is from 3 separate government departments. So that's always an interesting thing to balance out, especially when government departments often don't speak to each other and spend a lot of time complaining to me about each other. So this is a very simple graphic to show the main components, and if I was to encapsulate it in 3 points, it would be about evidence. So I do a lot of work to develop the evidence, to develop a needs analysis, find out evidence models that work, get the latest research and keep abreast of that, and so that I've got a really good argument. Then there's the second point is about the relationship building. I always talk to my potential funders. I don't just fill in their application form. I actually talk to them as much as possible, and I have quite a long, close association with some of the funding agencies and people in government departments, and at BHP Billiton as well, because you need to build that relationship and that trust and that confidence, and try and get them out to see what you do. That's fantastic if you can do that. So it's really about building the relationship. That's really important. And then the third thing is perseverance. My son recently had failed his driving test 4 times. He passed it on the 5th time, and I thought I had to congratulate him because he never lost his calm. He just kept persevering, and I thought, oh, that's pretty much what I do when I talk to my funding partners. You just keep persevering and talking to them and building the relationship and finding ways that is a win for them as well as a win for us. I heard there was a quote that I saw at a Public Health Association conference, that luck equals preparation plus opportunity, and I think that's a good way to think of it in terms of how you get funding and develop those relationships, and just take advantage of when the funding becomes available. These are some of our major funders, and one of the other things I'd say is that you actually need to set standards, and that's how you get respect. And so for Harvey Fresh, I'll go back if I can. So one of our supporters is Harvey Fresh. They do a range of products, and they came to me and said, you've got 17,000 children. We want to put Harvey Fresh products in the hands of 17,000 children. We'll give you all of our products for free up to a certain amount of money, 30,000 at the time. And I said, no, I just want, we already had a milk agreement with them. I said, I want you 100% unsweetened orange juice for remote communities, because those guys can't get citrus fruits and they're not getting their vitamin C. And the guy said, okay, if that's all you want, that's all we'll give you. So we've been able to develop a relationship with them based on a common understanding of what can be a win for them and what will be a win for the children that we serve. Okay, so that's my talk. Thank you for listening, and there are contact details if you want to contact us in future.
Any questions for Rex? Yes. Sorry.
That's all right.